a pacemaker,
That what? That you
you
do?
have a pacemaker, or you have an electrophysiologist.
Well, it can come from either one,
Uh,
but my electrophysiologist actually was focused on my AFib for um, 6 years,
mhm.
um, and had indicated that I probably eventually would need a pacemaker, but um, we hadn't come to that decision until my heart rate, my blood pressure dropped dangerously low, and then they said, "Well, I guess it's time."
Your body telling you it's time.
Yeah. So, um, but seems to be a good thing.
So, yeah,
Everybody says I seem more like my old self, so
that's a
I
plus.
I guess that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my brother-in-law Paul was able to take a shower and not be totally exhausted when he was done.
Oh well, that's good.
Um, John, however, is totally exhausted after he takes a shower. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's a pacemaker issue.
No. Well, we had a very quiet holiday. Uh, no guests. Nothing special. Went to bed early.
No visits to the doctor or the hospital.
I didn't even have to do that. So I had no doctor appointments actually over the holiday period, which is amazing. uh,
And then I've had headaches last week.
uh,
So kind of, all right, start off the new year with a couple of days of headaches. That's not so good.
you don't need that.
I don't need that.
Uh,
That's
yeah. Well, you've got a fair amount of stress in your life.
I do. I do. We've been looking into getting a ramp to make it easier for John to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And um, the metal ramp people say it won't fit in the garage with the car.
Uh,
I mean, we got a two-car garage. You'd think we could have both of those things in it, but it doesn't look like it.
uh,
So we got a quote from a guy who put it together, a wooden one. But the problem is it's got to come down from 33 inches.
mm,
So that's a long slope.
yeah.
So that's fun and games.
Yeah.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
Joanne.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Carol.
Happy
Nice
New
chilly
Year.
morning that it is. Woo.
Yes, it is.
Although I haven't had to go out yet except to bring the cat litter out. But
Well, that's good.
yeah, that needs to be out of the house. But yeah, no, it's chilly.
Yes, it is. When I got up, it was 19, feeling like
Ooh,
4.
Yeah, it
I
was.
didn't really look outside what it was. It was 54 on the porch where I am now.
Oh,
Well, that's almost warm.
Yeah, that's good. I haven't put any heat on in here. The sun is really helping. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I try to do as much as possible. Just a
sure.
little electric heater in here anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Solar. Solar as much as I can.
Yep. Unfortunately, we chose to leave trees up when we built the house.
Oh, yeah, right. Which is lovely in the summer, but
But
doesn't give you much sun.
no, it means they say there's no sense putting solar panels up. So
Yeah, our house is, I mean, we have a lot of sun, but the roof itself is just impossible given the angles. I mean, we could like have something standalone, but I don't
yeah.
know, the front lawn, I don't, probably not. We're doing them out at Voluntown at the Peace Trust, and we're going to do a standalone pavilion because none
Yeah.
of the roofs are good. So that will service 3 of the buildings. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, yeah, it will be, and it will be cool because it will be heat and air, and air conditioning basically, or it'll keep it
good.
all at a certain
Uh-huh.
temperature, which means that right now kind of nobody wants it in July, and nobody wants this conference center in July and August because it's so hot. So,
Yeah.
but now it will be cooler. So
Oh,
we'll see. We're only we're 2 months into the HVAC system, so and the solar goes
uh-huh.
up in the spring. So as soon as we raise enough money, we're a little worried that the rebates are going to be taken away by the new administration. So need to figure all that out.
Yep.
Because that's kind of what you base this on. So, well, I mean, we can get very low interest loans, but still
Yeah.
not a big fan of loans.
No.
Ah.
Not if you can avoid it.
Yeah, right.
Morning, Bill.
I think he's frozen at the moment, or else he's really good at being still.
Yeah. No, I couldn't keep his eyes open that long without blinking.
At least one blink.
He'll blink. That's the clue.
That doesn't.
Take it off. Carol, while we're waiting, are you more open next week about going to David's?
No, next week I won't even be able to go to class. I have a 10
Oh, okay.
appointment
Well,
that-
we'll keep trying. Week after?
Well, I don't think I can change it.
No. That's fine. We'll kind of work. We'll work something out. We'll see.
Yep. Well,
Yeah,
Miss-
I
Oh,
keep
go-
thinking, well, there's time to do that, to do both of those things. Like, 9 o'clock for this and noon for John's dentist, but no, not really.
No, when you think of all the steps you have to go through.
Yeah. And if it were me, if it were 9 o'clock here and me to the dentist, no problem.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But
Making sure he's up and moving, and that I'm back here to get him into the
right. You can't do the helping him while you're there.
No.
Nope.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we seem to be having bill issues this morning.
Are we expecting both bills?
Well, I hadn't heard that Mr. Bynum wouldn't be with us, but
I don't see him.
he's not here.
They're going to get snow soon, aren't they?
Are they? Ah.
Well,
I think another one of those things is coming across.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a lot of friends in Kentucky who are kind of under it, but now this one's even going a little further south
Yeah.
through Tennessee.
Well, Washington got clobbered.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, and they're not used to it.
No. No.
When I lived in Kentucky, a dusting would, create chaos because people didn't know how to drive on the street. So,
Yeah.
and they had
Oh,
sold all their, I think the year before I got there. So I moved there in '66 for college. The year I got there, or the year before I got there, they had sold most of their plows to Indianapolis, and then they needed them.
Oh, God.
It just takes longer to clear, or you wait until 2 p.m. when it's pretty melted anyway, right? So
Yeah.
that'll last.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
There you go. You were pretty
Uh,
frozen there on the screen for a while.
Zoom crashed my computer, so
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I couldn't maintain the video, and then it crashed. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Zoom has been having fun. Yesterday morning, I didn't think I was going to be able to connect because they had changed everything.
Oh,
They suddenly said, "Oh, you have to confirm all your meetings." Well, what do you mean confirm, and where do I do that?
right. When you've never done that before, how do you even think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it it's all right. This morning I didn't have an issue. So apparently, Mr. Bynum isn't able to join us. So let us begin. Well, you have approval from the Tingshaw.
Yes. I can hear that.
So, um, I don't know how much practice or thought you were able to put into gods over the holidays, but any questions or thoughts or reports at the moment?
Yeah, I was not. There were a number of crises here I won't go into. So,
Yeah.
between some of Rick's health and some other problems, that sucked up far more of my time. So I really didn't get the time off I wanted, meaning I didn't get the practice I wanted. But no, I mean, I think I've been trying to just really focus more on my breathing and lengthening it,
Mm-hmm.
which helps all the practices.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah, helps me get through some of the other craziness. Um, I don't. I mean, I realized this morning that I have not been doing it without the arms. I was like, oh, I forgot that part. But I figured that the days I was able to practice, I was glad to be able to do that and try not to backslide. But I can't say I made a little progress every day. I just.
Okay. Well, it's
But I tried not to, at least, yeah,
yep.
lose what I had.
Good. Good. Anything for you, Carol?
No, basically similar. And I've a couple of times did it without the arms, and like 10 without the arms and then 10 with them.
Uh-huh.
And but then mostly I've been doing the whole thing with arms. It's like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all.
Okay.
But, um,
Bill?
Um, not much without the arms. When I did practice, which I did fairly regularly, I surprised myself. I was trying, as I told you yesterday, to focus on roundness and spheres and no corners, if possible.
Good.
So,
No corners. That's right. Yep. Same here.
I figured out the transition from 5 to 6 without corners.
Oh,
So
good.
that works nicely.
Great. That's good. Well, I want to actually, I'm going to go into a rather lengthy discussion of Sheen, heart mind, because that, of course, has come up in talking about reverse breathing, but we didn't really get into more specifics about it. And it is one of the more difficult concepts for us to understand. So The term heart-mind, Xin, is used by some Taoists and not by others. Some continue to use the term Shen, which means spirit. The classic statement is Jing, Qi, Shen, Wu, Dao. Body, energy, spirit, emptiness, Tao. And you've heard body, mind, and spirit, which was the New Age interpretation. But in Taoism, Jing means the body. Qi clearly means energy. Shen means spirit, and Wu means emptiness. The complete comprehension of emptiness is Tao. Now, emptiness is understood at many levels. In the beginning, before one really understands what it is. You could refer to these you could refer to this, as partial and full understanding. Now the term Xin, heart-mind, actually has two implications to it. It is in one implication in Taoism of Shen, or spirit, or Wu, emptiness. In the Lao Tzu tradition, where Taoists speak of the heart-mind, they are specifically referring to the fifth and sixth energy bodies, the psychic and causal or karmic bodies. Now, the ordinary use of the word Qi is in referring to the Qi in the physical body, running through, and the acupuncture meridians that make the body function. But when Qi is used in Taoism, it is actually talking about the Qi of the emotions and the mind and the psychic realms. They are not just talking about physical Qi, because they are more likely to use the term Jing to refer to that. For them, that which creates the physical flesh, Jing, is the same as the energy. You can't separate them. The heart-mind speaks of the place that exists inside of you from which thoughts emerge. But Taoists and Buddhists use the term heart-mind because it works to refer to that place where what allows thoughts to emerge exists. Now, in Chinese thought, we have the terms yin and yang. Yin and yang are, in effect, all thought. Whatever comes into your perceptual mechanism, emotional, mental, or psychic, has yin and yang qualities. It is not one thing or another. It's a rock, not a tree. And there is always some yin and yang involved in human beings. Now, in human beings, the place where yin and yang come together and where yin and yang emerge from in Chinese is Taiji. When you're talking about the heart-mind, you're really talking about the Taiji as applied to thought or perception or some kind of thought. You have to have the thought to interpret any expression of any kind. The Taoists say the thought of Tai Chi is Wu Ji, or the Tao. It is a substratum of all and everything. But for human beings to recognize this is almost impossible. Human beings can recognize what does it for them personally, but the whole from which the context springs, the Chinese in one sense call it the Tao, which perhaps is what Buddhists call nature of mind. However, that is not absolutely not absolutely all it could mean, since nature of mind could also fit the Chinese concept of Tai Chi. So you get a thought in your head, and the way that you perceive it is usually through some form of analysis occurring. You think, I am moving my hand. But if you go back a few levels, and somewhere in there your body has made the analysis and the decision and the movement you are making. It may have occurred lightning fast, but that is what has gone on. But there is a place that allows those thoughts to burst through, and this is the heart-mind, Sheen. Now what you want to do when you want to do movement, something in you has to create the context of any thought you are going to have about how that movement is going to occur. The way almost everybody does it initially, and which opens the door to potentially incessant neurotic behavior, is analyze it, what it means, what it does, how does it go, what does it do. Spinning thoughts, always trying to make sense of everything and every thought. Very often exaggerating each of these. That results in neurotic ways of thinking, or obsessive neurotic thinking. Ultimately, the solution to neurotic thinking is to have your thoughts be truly integrated and come from one place. Neurotic thinking is nothing more than a statement of separated thinking gone wild. So there is no integration in that case. If you got someone who is really clear about what something is, they're going to start having a neurotic observation about that thought. They're going to say, that is what it is, and that is what we are going to do. But have you ever tried to have a conversation with a real neurotic? It's a seriously weird experience. The reason is that they make every thought that comes up important and disconnected to the others. This is not dissimilar to when you are practicing a form of Neigong and you cannot comprehend how to integrate all the parts at the same time. This is a statement of integration. So that is the birth of yin and yang. That is where yin and yang in every aspect integrates. At the moment, it's not yin and yang. It's neither one yin nor one yang. It's both. It's neither. It's everything that could have to do with any aspect of yin and yang, or that could occur, could ever come out in any form, because it is all contained in that Taiji. And from that, all yin and yang spring out and combine, and ad infinitum. Taiji is the point of integration. Now, what is the central quality of Earth? It's integration. It is in the Earth practices, in Taoism work, Qi work, that the way of learning how to integrate comes about. It is the earth element that one finds and integrates that is the integrative force. Now, in the Lao Tzu tradition, God's playing in the clouds is the bridge between Qigong and Neigong meditation. Because what is meditation but something that is eventually integrating the entirety of any human being in the world? Now, when total integration occurs, absolutely free from freedom follows. They mean the same thing from two different angles. But the neurotic separating of this and this and this and this does not create freedom, because each and every yin and yang fights for dominance. There is no freedom when one part of you is fighting with another. You're in a war, intrinsically, due to the nature of their structure. That is what happens if they are not integrated. Now, in this discussion of Shin, heart-mind, I am sharing with you how my teacher Bruce Francis communicated it to me, and how his teacher, Master Liu Hongxie, shared it with him. And I'm hopefully using words to help you understand. But that is not how you're going to find the heart-mind. You're going to have to consider, what is the place inside you that integrates? One, our bodies are intrinsically integrated. What is the force inside you that allows all the myriad parts of your body to work with each other? How do all the parts of your body work together? Even Western scientists and admit to knowing less than 5% of what the brain can actually do. From the Eastern thought, the state of Taiji doesn't even have to do specifically with your brain. Regardless of what it has to do with, there is something within you that allows you to integrate all the organs, glands, and your appendages work together without falling apart. If your body were to treat you the way a neurotic treats thoughts, you would probably explode into pieces. So something keeps it together. And what is it inside your body that allows you to integrate? What is it you have to do so that all the parts of your practice can become one thing? The last part of the Neigong system says, all things work together. That is the statement of the heart-mind. That which allows everything to be in peaceful coexistence with everything else, and which brings out your ability to recognize finer perceptions, even finer discriminations, and even have finer control. But this is not a physical thing. This is not move this way and send the chi there. This is what allows you, when you do something, to not let something else let go, to have it all be there and be equally recognized. Now, it takes a long time to learn about Shin, the heart-mind, but it is important so that you can integrate your body and what you are doing in God's plane, in the clouds, and meditation. Now, when watching Bruce do martial applications, you really are amazed about how much is going on with every movement. How could he remember all that? He doesn't, because at that level, it's all one movement, because he is coming from the heart-mind. It is necessary to train very hard to achieve this level, since you cannot integrate something that isn't there to begin with. Master Henry Wong also exhibited that ability when I saw him. In Taoism, they say that there is only one emotion. There is only emotion. But this is a statement based on how the Shin integrates everything. The further a human being moves away from the heart-mind and focuses on all those little pieces, the further one moves away from being free inside. There is no integration. If you think from the heart-mind, you think, hopefully, when you think from the heart-mind, you think holographically, not literally. So where is this place where everything integrates? Every separation exists, and every ability to have it become one exists. In Chinese, the saying is, no matter what you think, where does it actually come from? And that's the Shin, the heart-mind. So it is very simple. What is the heart mind? This phrase, as I said, is used by some Taoist schools and not by others. Some Taoists use it because they are looking for common point with the Buddhists. Higher level Buddhists in China have for centuries made common cause with Taoists. And lower level Buddhists did not, since they had aspirations for power. The Neo-Taoists, who used the traditions that came forward strongly from about 1000 onward, tend to use only traditional Taoist terms. The term Shen, or spirit, and Shen, or heart-mind, are used somewhat interchangeably by them. But Shen is used for some very specific things. So again, what is the heart-mind? The simplest explanation is the common space that both your intellect and your emotions share. Now that is the way it is often translated in the West, and that is the most feeble of all the explanations of what it is. A bit like describing an encyclopedia as a book with a lot of information. The heart-mind is a few other things. The term heart, used in this sense, is not the way heart is used in the New Age movements, just for emotions, heartfelt, or having a good heart. It is not the emotional heart, because in Taoist and Eastern thought, the heart has two distinctly different qualities. At one level, the heart is related to emotions, yes. Studies have shown that there are more thinking type cells in your heart than there are in the brain. But the heart puts out more electrical impulses than the brain does. So in one sense, the three dantians of Taoism could be called the brain that's in your belly, which has been shown to have thinking cells too, the brain in your heart, and the brain in your head. But besides the emotional side, in Eastern thought, the heart is where the center of human consciousness resides. When we think of the brain in the East, it's in the heart. That which moves between one life and another. That which is the ultimate force of being conscious of anything resides in the heart. So when the term Shen, or heart-mind, is used, it is usually referring to that consciousness, not to the emotions. On the other side, mind is used not just in the sense of thinking, but in the absolute capacity for thought. Not just that you think something, but the capacity that even allows thought to come about. So the heart-mind is the place where this capacity for thought to come about and the essential consciousness of the human being are combined. Now what are combined? Now what that combined thing does is that it recognizes any thought or perception as yin yang, or a series of yin yangs. But there is also a place from which yin and yang arise, and that place has no specific quality of any yin or yang, and yet allows yin and yang to appear. That is where all thoughts in your mind originate from, but it is not the thought itself, because only you have the thought. When you recognize, because once you have the thought, what you recognize is the concrete expression of the thought, the place that allows that thought to even come about is the heart-mind, Shin. The disease of our modern age is anxiety. War, economy, politics, all are creating anxiety in our society. The peace of mind, the pace of modern life creates anxiety. This is a major symptom that the heart-mind is asleep, and yin and yang are running the show. Everything that someone gets anxious about is a yin or a yang. And anxiety, unfortunately, has a tendency to breed fear. So trying to remove anxiety through thinking it just doesn't usually work, because you're trying to use yin and yang to overcome yin and yang, and the more you use them, the more yin and yang you come up with. So the place where all this anxiety comes from is also the heart-mind, which gives birth to it. You can use trying to be calm to try to counter anxiety, but that is just another yin and yang. In the heart-mind, if the heart-mind is active, you could go through being calm and being manic, and you could still not be bothered, but you would still be stable. Tapping into the heart-mind is what allows a person to become stable. So the heart-mind is or it's the heart-mind is of its own nature what integrates all thought, since it gives birth to all thought. But it is no thought in particular. It integrates every thought that can ever come into your mind, or that your mind has even forgotten, but it still stores this somewhere, just waiting to be awakened. So the question is, how can you start to tap into the heart-mind? The truth is, nobody can tell you how to do it. Either you can begin to work with it for a while, doing Neigong practices like God's, or meditation. If you can learn to keep your mind focused on what you are feeling. What is the experience? What is it that seems to come just before a thought pops out? If you can maintain that while you practice, your thoughts will begin to integrate, and eventually it is the secret to doing all parts of the Neigong practice at the same time. It cannot be accomplished by thinking out each step or part. The heart-mind is the space that integrates all the parts and holds them together. So keep trying to be aware of that space just before the thoughts come into your head, into your mind. You want to identify that space, relax into it, and see comfortably into it. That is what allows the integration of all the parts of your practice, including God's Tai Chi and meditation, and integrating them into your life. I'm sure you'll want to read that again.
Yep, you're right on that one. Maybe a few times.
So did that raise any questions at the moment?
Where do we begin?
So stop thinking.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So what I'd like you to do is do a 10 rep flow, and just see if you can begin to be open to the heart mind. In this sense, not as a physical place,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but as the integrating force. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so sit. So anyone have any sense of the heart mind in that?
I felt particularly aware in 5 for some interesting reason.
Hmm.
And not very much before that. I think I was trying too hard at the beginning.
Yep.
Just thinking too much. But by 5, it just kind of came to me. So, yeah. I mean, I obviously was aware and waiting, but yeah.
Yeah. Bill or Carol?
I would say no.
So,
For me, what I try to do is kind of a baby step, I hope in the right direction, by imagining each movement not as a linear sequence of motions of the hands, arms, etc., but just as one thing.
mm-hmm.
You call it motion, but just trying to imagine um, the feeling of having done the whole thing before I did anything. Yeah. Um, which isn't all the way there, but at least it's not. I tried not to tie myself to, okay, now I have to do this with my hands. Now I have to do this.
Yeah. I'm sure that all of you, even those not here today, have had some point in your practice of some of the things you've studied, whether it's been God's or one form of Tai Chi or a Qigong practice, when you've been aware that you were unaware, that you stopped thinking, and that everything just flowed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it probably doesn't last yet a long time, but those are moments when you're beginning to connect with the heart mind. And it just takes time and practice.
Yeah.
And one of the things is to really get to the point where all of the individual parts that you are hoping to coordinate are things that you no longer have to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as you have to think about them, they become yin and yang and not combined,
Mm-hmm.
not integrated.
And we know that from past experience, right?
Yep.
We know in all of these practices, we're not thinking about every aspect all the moment. We are at the beginning, but then we're not.
Yeah.
So build on that. I keep reminding myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. Try not to be neurotic.
Definitely. Good.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Need a banner. Try not to be there.
And not think about it.
And don't think about being neurotic. Awareness, but not awareness.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you've got it there. Okay, guys.
Wow. Okay,
I will send you all these words.
please. The sooner the better. Good to start tomorrow morning off with that, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
Aha.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Great.
here's
Yeah.
Moki to
Oh,
say hello and
okay.
goodbye. Have a great.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be right back for class
Thank you,
two.
Dan.
Okay. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh, too many words.
No, I was sitting here
Try to
thinking,
define something that's not definable by words.
right. Um, one thing I was thinking, Carol, as I watched you flowing before was um, that it might be helpful to see if you can even out your pace a little more, because it sometimes a posture tended to be slow in one part and quicker in another. And I think being more consistent in pace might be helpful.
Well, work on that.
Yeah. So,
I have a question about three. I
sure.
just feel like, I mean, I'm trying clear. I am aware of trying to round my corners, but I'm also aware that sometimes my sphere becomes maybe too much of a long oval. I guess I'm just wondering, and I'm really trying to do that with my body, not with my arms.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know if that was something you noticed or something I need to pay more attention to.
I think everybody could pay more attention to that.
Well,
I wouldn't worry about it being an oval. Um, that's fine. The problem is when um, it develops corners.
yeah, yeah. That I'm clearly, yes.
Yeah. So I wouldn't worry. I mean, it
Okay.
kind of tends towards being oval just because of the kind of movement it is.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes.
that's
Okay.
not, I don't think that's a major issue.
Don't be neurotic about that. Is that what you're
Yeah,
telling me?
that's what I'm telling you. Don't think about that.
Well, then that's always a relief. Like, oh, I'm doing okay on that. Right. I'm not jutting out and jutting in. I'm not just, in a
Yep,
line.
yep.
I mean, I know what I'm not supposed to be doing is, yeah.
I did feel that everybody was um, keeping the movement pretty rounded. absolutely. I think the difficult part is really fully bending and extending and not creating corners.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And being clear about the bending and extending or twisting, whatever, lengthening, whatever one you happen to be focusing on at the moment. It's very easy to let those movements in 3 become more linear than rounded.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
So if it's oval, I really think that's okay.
Okay. I think, part of it for me has also been just making sure my feet are doing the right thing.
Well, that's true. That's really important in each of the parts.
Mm-hmm.
So being aware of where the weight is on the feet,
Yep.
and what is happening
Right.
in the legs and feet.
Yes.
Always important.
Right. But this one, because of the movement, yeah. You have to be more aware or you're really off.
Yeah. It doesn't function the way.
Well, right, because the opposite heel really grounds you in a you're very aware of that, or aware that it's not that. Yeah. Or I am anyway. That's been kind of a
absolutely
piece I've had to work on.
So anything come up if you had any time to practice the form?
I did practice. I kind of practiced again, just the very beginning of went back to 1 and then kind of into the beginning of 2, just trying to remember all the lessons that we've kind of, it really is so much more helpful when we're in person to do this. Just trying to, again, cloud hands and all of the different kind of going back over a monkey, kind of like it said. So that's kind of what I did. I didn't, I feel like I need to keep getting past, I think it's 43 or something, that starts getting a little rough with me. And that had been part of what I really wanted to do and didn't have time to do, but I at least did what I felt like I could do.
Good.
And I think if I get better at that, then I can really concentrate on the other when I have a little more time. So hopefully this week we'll, always keep trying, right?
Yeah. Anything for you, Carol?
No, particularly. I did focus on the second paragraph mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Some days it was just
Good.
I need to do the whole thing. Just make sure I remember it.
Yeah.
Make sure my body remembers it.
Well, right. I found myself a few times mixing the first and second paragraph. Like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Where am I again? So I think that's where that's why I started going back to the first and second to make sure I was, You're right. It's about your body remembering it. About like when you, right.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
So I think that's just kind of part of what I need to,
Okay.
Read this, reread this, read parts of it every day, whatever. I started we've had a tradition for 25 years, which is to go to meditation at New Year's Day at Maria and Dan's place.
Oh.
And it's always just really special. Sarah and David are there, which is a lovely time. I see them since I met her actually through Tai Chi, which is nice to see them. They're friends of Dan and Maria's too. So I think that it's always a kind of reset on the importance of meditation for me. So since that's still kind of very, this is kind of coming out of perfect timing, I think, to kind of go, New Year, let's kind of get into this practice more. So.
Good.
It's winter. It's time to kind of hunker in and do this. So,
anyway.
Yeah,
I listened to a podcast recently and it was it was Radiolab, I think, but it was looking at some adages, and this particular one was "Idle mind is the devil's workshop." Well, they did. They talked with some scientists who've been studying idle minds or minds at rest and not actively doing things. And there's something called a sharp wave ripple
Hmm.
that happens when your mind is just idling, which seems to be involved in um, solidifying memories.
Hmm.
And I was thinking, okay, is that part of what I mean, mind is not exactly idle during meditation, but we're not focusing on figuring something out either.
Hmm.
And that just
Right.
that it's like a little spark of,
Hmm.
you know, a sharp wave ripple in the brain action
Interesting.
that only happens when you're not focusing on something else.
Uh-huh.
And
Hmm.
Hmm.
um, and it just kind of inter- interesting. I never heard of it before, but that it kind of like grabs little bits of memories
Yeah. Interesting.
Hmm.
and helps you choose what's important.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, I've never heard that phrase either. I do like Radiolab. I had heard something this week too about an article. I read a little bit of it. I think it said "just do nothing." Um, and I think some of this is kind of a reaction to just the overload of news and crises and all of that kind of. How do
Hmm.
we? Yeah, how do we make that kind of space? So I think there's yeah, it's important to do it. I several years ago with St. Francis House, we used to do these small day long retreats out at Voluntown, and one of the members did a really lovely piece on the Sabbath. It's kind of like why is there a day of rest?
Hmm.
And that really so many spiritual traditions have that, that kind of reset, that kind of like nope, just yep,
Yeah.
kind of don't work, and I think some have taken it to an extreme, but I would say, but I think, or it's just like go to church, you know, it's really supposed to be a day of rest,
Hmm.
or every 7 years, we rest the fields, or we just, it's kind of like it is part of nature that we have kind of left behind in the busyness.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um,
So, yeah.
we we need to reconnect to nature.
That's right. That's right. And those natural cycles and
Yep.
needs that we have yeah, right. I
Absolutely.
mean, everybody kind of saying, oh, you could shut your devices off. It's like, oh,
Uh,
yeah,
yes, you could.
yes, you could. Like, I don't answer mine all the time.
Right. People will get over it.
But people learn. I mean, I think you have to train people too sometimes. Like, why didn't you get back to me? It's like, I'm in a meeting, I'm doing something else. I don't
Yeah.
carry my phone with me every moment. It's in the other room when
Yeah.
I'm cooking. Yeah, but I do think that this practice kind of reinforces that the importance of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well,
All right.
have a
So
good
good things
week.
to move forward on.
Yeah, have a good week and
Well,
um,
I won't be here next week. I have a 10 o'clock appointment.
okay.
Oh,
Well,
All right.
hopefully I'll see both of you in
the
two
week after.
weeks in person, maybe.
Yes.
Hopefully, I'm going to aim for that, Carol. Let's see. That's the 22nd.
Right now, that looks like it will work.
Great. Okay. I'm going to
Ta-da.
put that.
tentatively in the schedule.
Yeah, I'm writing it in so I can
Edit that one
not
instead.
make a meeting, not have a meeting happen at 10:30 or 11. So I think that's all possible. Okay.
Good. Great.
Well, it depends on doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah. Life revolves around that.
There are more now.
And there are more now and more for spouses. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Y'all
All
have a
right.
great week.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.